live session. I'm so sorry for coming live late. I had to deal with some technical issues, right? I really apologize for that. I just pray that this network is going to behave tonight because I can already see some glitches. Anyways, we're going to carry on in faith. So tonight we're going to examine chapter 11 of Think and Grow Rich. Please, somebody should help me message our that, we are live. She should just come on YouTube and search for Dr. Olaide Agbaje. I just saw a message, but I can't chat her right now. So chapter 11 is titled The Mystery of Sex Transmutation. And this is the 10th step to riches. So tonight, we're going to be delving into a very interesting topic, something that people do not really like to talk about. Yes, the matter of sex. And it is such an interesting read, I hope that you don't have children close to you because tonight's review is for adults only. Okay, so the mystery of sex transmutation. Transmutation means changing the form of something to another form, changing the element, changing one element into something else, right? That is what transmutation means. So how can we change sex into something that will benefit us, that will turn into riches? That is actually very interesting, if I must say. Before we go ahead and before your mind starts running very, very wild, I'd like to read something, from a letter page 220. Then I'll go back to the beginning. Please listen to this. The entire subject of sex is one of which the majority of people appear to be unpardonably ignorant. The urge of sex, the urge of sex has been grossly misunderstood, slandered, and burlesqued by the ignorant and the evil-minded for so long that the very word sex is seldom used in polite society. Men and women who are known to be blessed, yes, blessed, with highly sexed natures are usually looked upon with suspicion. Instead of being called blessed, they are usually called cursed. If you looked at the title that I've put on the thumbnail, I said that the higher your sex power, the richer you become, right? So let us continue, and then we're going to understand that as we delve deeper into this. What has sex got to do with riches? How are they connected? They are connected in a lot of ways, and we're going to find out, okay? Right. The emotion of sex is the most powerful, according to the author, Napoleon Hill. It says the emotion of sex has behind it the possibility of three constructive potentialities. Number one is the perpetuation of humankind, as in the continuation of humankind. Through sex, we reproduce, right? So that humankind does not go into extinction. Number two is the maintenance of health. It serves as a therapeutic agency and it has no equal. Number three is the transformation of mediocrity into genius through transmutation. And this number three is what we're going to focus on majorly in this review. How do we transmute, or how does sex transmute one from mediocrity into a genius? Sex desire is the most powerful of all human desires. When anybody is driven by this desire, they develop a very keen imagination. They develop courage. They develop willpower, persistence, and creative ability unknown to them at other times. A lot of people don't even realize this. Can you let us go back to all of these that I've mentioned, all of these characteristics? Anybody that is driven by a great sex desire, the person is driven by desire. They are driven by a very keen imagination. They are driven by courage, willpower, persistence, and creative ability unknown to them at other times. But then, if they don't use it, the way they are supposed to use it, it can be very, very destructive. So the author is saying that sex is actually the most powerful emotion, because as an adult, you can think of it when you have a sexual urge, right? It is so strong that you just want an outlet. Now imagine if that desire is channeled into something positive. The way the urge is so strong, the way the willpower comes so strongly that you really want an outlet. Now imagine that your creative power, your imagination, your ability, your determination for success is what is strong in the same manner. When I was reading this book, I was just thinking that, wow, people that have very strong sexual desires and then they use it in a negative way probably impregnate so many women. Oh, I'm breaking. Mr. Adekunle says I'm breaking. Is there anybody that can hear me very well, so that we'll know whether the problem is from him or from my network? Please, I need your feedback. Okay. Surprise, I can hear. So what is your yes? Your yes is that you can hear me very clearly? Or is it that your yes is, oh, my network is okay? Thank God, thank God, thank God, thank God. Anybody else? I need another confirmation, please, because I'm so scared. Oh, fantastic. So Mr. Adekunle, was so sorry. It is your network. Please check it out. I'm doing this with my heart pants because the network I usually use is just not coming on. Oh God, take control. All right. So I was giving a very good example that, those men that actually, thank you, impregnate a lot of women, as in they share their own national cake, and they have children all over the place. They don't even know that some of these children exist, because virtually every city that they visit, they try to leave a mark there. They try to, sow a seed there. They try to leave a footprint that, yes, I came here by impregnating a lady. Imagine that they now use that same energy of distributing children here and there to actually distribute companies, to distribute great ideas, to make good use of this, their power, this, their determination, their courage, this, their urge to give birth into something that will actually benefit the world in no great measure. Please don't get me wrong. This is not to say that children don't benefit the world. So I'm talking in the context of those who have children here and there, the children that they cannot even take care of. Because like I also said, they don't even realize that they have this kind of children. They just do what they want to do and they move on. And some of them may not even be in touch with these women anymore. I'm talking in that context. And these children grow up without a father figure. Of course, if anybody can take care of as many children as they want, fantastic. Not only with money, but your time, your attention, bringing them up in the way of the Lord, teaching them, guiding them aright. Those are all the things that parenting encompasses. But if you cannot do that, please don't even try it. Imagine now that they now use that energy positively. All right. So here we are also learning, I don't want to miss a part, that scientific research on the backgrounds of high achieving men, unfortunately, no similar studies have been made about highly successful women. This scientific research has disclosed these two significant facts. Number one, men of greatest achievements are those with highly developed sex natures, men who have learned the art of sex transmutation. Number two, the men who have accumulated great fortunes and achieved outstanding recognition in literature, arts, industry, architecture, and the professions were motivated by the influence of a woman, right? So even if you have great sex, a very great sex nature, you still need a woman to help you use it positively, to help you put it under control by mixing love with it. Because as we all know, dissipating your sexual energy necessarily does not have to be mixed with love. Some people just do it because they have that urge and they want an outlet. Just as the example of a river that is given here. You can try to tame a river, to try to control the flow of a river, but you can only do that for a limited amount of time. After a while, the pressure of that river, the current of the flow of the river will find a way to break out of any control, any limits that you try to place on it. That is how powerful a sexual urge is. Anybody that is under a sexual urge, the person will look for any avenue to let it out. That's why some will go to prostitute, because they cannot contain it. It's like, I don't know how it is, please, but it's like a very powerful, I don't know, you guys, you understand better. They just want an outlet. Unfortunately, they are doing it destructively. How about they channel that energy into something more productive? Oh my God, this chapter is so loaded. The research from which these outstanding discoveries were made went back through the pages of biography and history of more than 2,000 years. Wherever there was evidence available in connection with the lives of men of great achievements, it indicated most convincingly that they possessed highly developed sex natures. The emotion of sex contains the secret of creative ability. If you have it in a very high amount, then it means that your creative ability is high. And this is one discovery that you need to make tonight. If you haven't made it already, or if you have been using this God-given ability destructively, you need to rechannel it into something positive, into something more productive that will not only benefit you, but will benefit generations that will come after you, and that will make the world a better place. Destroy the sex gland, whether in man or beast, and you have removed the major source of action. I'll take that again. Destroy the sex glands, whether in man or beast, and you have removed the major source of action, right? There's an example of how if you castrate a bull, the bull will become as docile as a cow. In fact, cow is even better. Think of another animal that is not as active as a cow. Any animal that is castrated, if you have seen an animal that is castrated before, you know, that animal becomes docile. The same thing with a man, a human being, right? Whether in male or female, it has the same effect. Now, let us look at the 10 mind stimuli. There are 10 ways or 10 actions we can take to stimulate our minds. As in, to stimulate means to awaken something, to make it come alive, to put the mind to work. Number 1 is the desire for sex expression. Number 2 is love. Love can stimulate anybody's mind. Number 3 is a burning desire for fame, power, financial gain, money. Number 4 is music. Number 5 is friendship between either those of the same sex or those of the opposite sex. Number 6, a mastermind alliance based upon the harmony of 2 or more people who ally themselves for spiritual or temporary advancement. Number 7 is mutual suffering, such as that experienced by people who are persecuted. It can stimulate their minds. Number 8 is autosuggestion, what you feed your mind with. Number 9 is fear. Number 10 is narcotics and alcohol. These 10 elements can stimulate anybody's mind. The human mind responds to stimuli through which it may be keyed up, geared up, awakened to high rates of vibration. So people use all of these 10 stimuli, you know, to awaken their minds. Maybe the mind is dull. For example, there are some people who do music. They cannot write any tangible lyrics until they smoke weed, until they take narcotics, until they take alcohol. That is when their minds will be stimulated, and that is when you see them writing lyrics, you know, they make great music and all of that. Actually, there are so many musicians that get inspiration through this. They get high on something, you know, and that is when the inspiration will be flowing. But if you notice, the number 1 stimuli here, or stimulus is singular, is the desire for sex expression, right? 8 of these stimuli are natural and constructive. 2 are destructive. The list here is presented to enable you to make comparative study of the major sources of mind stimulation. Now, genius is developed through the sixth sense. The reality of a sixth sense has been fairly well established. This sixth sense is creative imagination. The faculty of creative imagination is one that the majority of people never use during their entire lifetime. They just do the ordinary. Yeah, I say they because I'm beginning to use mine, right? I'm beginning to use mine because I also found out that I've not been using it enough. There was this study, I can't remember, and I cannot confirm it, that I'm just trying to remember vaguely, that says an average human makes use of maybe like 0.00001, something like that, of the capacity of their minds. And for the author to be saying that an average person or the majority of people never use their creative imagination during their lifetime, that means what we do every day. Oh, I want to go to work. Oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. We are just doing the ordinary. In fact, the very, very basic thing that any idiot can do. That is what it means. Once you go to school, okay, 1 + 1 is 2. Okay, I'll wake up in the morning, I'll go to work, I'm an accountant, I'm an engineer. Those things are not creative until you do the extraordinary. If you're a fashion designer, and here, there's an example that's coming, like Vicky James. That babe, no, you will know that this person is thinking. She is thinking. If you don't know Vicky James, go and Google her. She's a luxury fashion designer, from Nigeria. She's thinking. When you see her designs, you'll be like, how did somebody sit down and think of this? They are extraordinary. They are luxurious. Even at that, I cannot categorically say that she's still using her creative imagination to the maximum. But at least we can see that she's out of the ordinary. She's not average. She's not somebody that you can call an average fashion designer. A lot of people are trying to copy her. So in that your field, until you actually become outstanding, it means that you are not using your creative imagination, right? There are no other known sources from which inspired ideas or hunches may be received. What are hunches? When ideas or concepts flash into one's mind through what is popularly called a hunch. Anytime an idea flashes through your mind, that is a hunch. That idea may come from maybe your infinite intelligence. It may come from your subconscious mind. It may come from the mind of other people who said something. Maybe you're watching my video, for example, and through that video, an idea just sparks in your brain. It can come like that. But what makes a difference is that you use it, you translate it into something beneficial, or through another person's subconscious storehouse. All right? Let's move on. I'm really trying to rush because I think we started late. Anytime you are using your creative imagination, it is as if you have ascended on a plane. You are flying high, higher than everybody else. You are not on the same level with everybody. That's why you see inventors, people who do great things in our world today. They are not on the same pedestal as the ordinary people, as those who don't make use of their minds. They are not on the same pedestal. Somebody like Thomas A. Edison. Can somebody say Thomas A. Edison is on the same pedestal as, maybe, I don't want to mention anybody or be specific, as somebody that is just doing a normal thing, an ordinary thing? No, they're not on the same pedestal. Yes, both of them have brains, but one is making use of his creative imagination. The other person is just making use of his reasoning faculty. Anybody can make use of their reasoning faculty. Your reasoning faculty will tell you that, oh, food must go into your mouth, though, not your nose. Your reasoning faculty will tell you, okay, let me just go to school. Let me just become a graduate and then become a lawyer. I'll be going to court. Anybody can do that with their reasoning faculty. Just acquire the necessary knowledge that everybody is acquiring. Go to school and then you can use your reasoning faculty. Even a child can use his reasoning faculty. When you give a child food, that child is not going to put it into his nose. I've never seen any child that you give food Even a baby, a day-old baby, what is the child doing? Using the mouth to look for the mother's breast or whatever. A baby that is just out of the womb, opening the mouth, trying to, that is reasoning faculty. It is natural to everybody. Right. There's a guy here who made use of his creative ability. His name is Dr. Elmer R. Gates. And he is one of the greatest inventors of all time. It is just that he did not receive enough publicity. And the author makes it known that he was actually paid for sitting for ideas. Anytime he wanted to get ideas, he would shut all the doors in his laboratory. He would close the windows. He would make sure that there are no distractions. He would sit down. He would close his eyes. And ideas would start flowing. This is something you need to start practicing. In this digital age where telephone has become a distraction, you need to put it aside. You need to sit down, shut out all distractions, and close your eyes and think and imagine things. There was a time this guy was sitting down and ideas were flowing through his mind, and he wrote down, great ideas for 3 straight hours. As the ideas were flowing, he was writing them down. Ideas were flowing. He was writing down the ideas. He wrote for 3 hours until the ideas stopped flowing. I always say it, that anytime ideas flow through your mind, get your pen and your paper and write down. In fact, you should create time, even if it's 5 minutes a day, to think of ideas. That job that you do, how can you do it better? That your business, how can you actually do it better? And this guy, Dr. Gates, will be paid to just generate ideas for people. He will just sit down and then ideas will be coming, and he will give these ideas to people and they will pay him for it, right? God, I'm really trying to rush, but let me just calm down a little bit. We've differentiated between the reasoning faculty and the creative faculty. Abraham Lincoln was somebody that made use of his creative faculty, and we could see his greatness. Thomas A. Edison, I've also said that, trying to experiment with something for 10,000 times. And the author is saying here, please take note of this. The pages of history are filled with records of great leaders whose achievements may be traced directly to the influence of women who aroused the creative faculties of their minds through the stimulation of sex desire. Napoleon Bonaparte was one of these. When inspired by his first wife, Josephine, he was irresistible and invincible. When his better judgment or reasoning faculty prompted him to put Josephine aside, as in his first wife, he began to decline. He began to experience defeat. So women, this is for men, women are instrumental to your success in life. And this is not just theory. The author is saying that he had actually interviewed and analyzed the lives of great men and women. And he found this outstanding truth, that women are a part of any man's success. And those who think that, after they've gotten power and fame and money, they can actually put aside the wife of their youth and go and marry somebody else, they usually experience a decline. Especially when they do that out of no reason. They just feel that, now money has come. There's now fame. There's now power. This woman is no longer beautiful. The woman that suffered with you, the woman who was praying day and night with you, the woman with whom you had a covenant that till death do you part, you now think that you can drop her by the wayside and go and pick somebody else. Go and watch the lives of such men, that they usually experience defeat. If it is not that, this separation is coming from the woman, especially when you now leave her in pain. Her heart is so bitter towards you. She's unhappy with you. There's one Nigerian actor that is coming to my mind now, who left his first wife, and went to marry another wife. And if you think, you just might know the person that I'm talking about. And his acting career seems to be nosediving. Somebody that used to do so well, even now, whenever he makes a public post, it just feels like, is this person thinking at all? How can somebody in his right state of mind put out these words, make this kind of post? The human mind responds to stimulation. Sex energy is the creative energy of all geniuses. Now let's move to this. Why people seldom, let me say that another way, why people hardly succeed before the age of 40. Now this is powerful. In case you are 40 years old and you don't yet have your footing in life, it looks as if a fool at 40 is a fool forever. See, there is hope for you at this. There is hope for you at this point. A fool at 40 is not a fool forever. So please pay attention to this part. I discovered, that's the author speaking now, from the analysis of over 25,000 people, that those who succeed in an outstanding way hardly do so before the age of 40. More often, they do not strike their real pace until they are well beyond the age of 50. This fact was so outstanding that it prompted me to go into the study of its cause most carefully, carrying the investigation over a period of more than 12 years. I hope you're paying attention. This study disclosed that the major reason why the majority of people who succeed do not begin to do so before the age of 40 to 50 is their tendency to dissipate, to exert their energies through overindulgence in physical expression of the emotion of sex before they are 40 years old. That's energy, that sexual desire is just making them to dissipate their energy the wrong way. Because youthful exuberance, the energy is still there, they can try any babe, they can, do what they like, they are still strong. And so they are using their sexual energy wrongly. Until, I don't want to mince words here. These lines are very important. So let me just continue to read for a while. Most people never learn that the urge of sex has other possibilities, which far transcend in importance that of mere physical expression. A lot of people believe, and I think I should have clarified this in the beginning, that when we're talking about sex, we are talking of physical contact. It transcends beyond that. It transcends beyond that. And this is why the matter of sex should be taught. The author has actually faulted the educational system, politicians, even religious places, for not wanting to touch on this important subject that can destroy lives in a great measure and also bring great fortunes to a life. It doesn't have to do with physical contact alone. It is a kind of energy, this is desire, a kind of passion that God himself puts in us. If it is ultimately meant to destroy us, I don't think that God would have put it in us. He wouldn't have put it in us. But we need to channel it the right way. God puts it in us for reproduction, but beyond that, he puts it in us for us to have the kind of willpower, the kind of courage, the kind of urge that comes with it, and then channel that same urge and desire and passion into something that will benefit us and benefit the world in general. The majority of those who make this discovery do so after having wasted many years when the sex energy is at its height, prior to the age of 45 and 50. They're still gyrating, they're still doing, I'm a guy, I'm a babe, dissipating their energy, wasting their time, This is usually followed by noteworthy achievements. Once such people reach the age of 45 to 50, or even from the age of 40, they begin to come to their senses that, wait, I'm now 40 years old. What have I achieved? Is it that truly a fool at 40 is a fool forever? And then they begin to come to their senses. Now they have enjoyed life. They have gallivanted up and down. They now realize that there's really nothing in this thing. All the way that they've been dissipating their sexual energy, what has it brought them? To some, they will even acquire incurable diseases in the process. The lives of many people up to and sometimes well past the age of 40 reflect a continued dissipation of energies, which could have been more profitably channeled. Their finer and more powerful emotions are sown wildly to the four winds. Out of these habits grew the term sowing one's wild oats. They're just gallivanting and everything. But once they reach the age of 40, they now begin to realize that there is more to life than just dissipating sexual energy here and there. And then they begin to reason. This is not to say that there are not people who begin to achieve great things before the age of 40, but there are very few of them. And some of these people don't even know that it is their sexual nature that is being used productively. They don't realize this truth. Just like I am also realizing this truth for the first time while I was reading this book. And I'm sure you also don't know this, that there is more to your sexual energy than just using it to gallivant and to, fulfill, is it fulfill? Yes. Your sexual physical urge just by having physical contact. All right. The same way sexual energy can be used to stimulate the mind. We have also seen the same way that some people, I'll mention 3 of them: Edgar Allan, James Whitcomb, Robert Burns. These ones would get intoxicated. They made use of alcohol, drugs, and everything to stimulate their minds. And the author says that it should be remembered that many such people like these have destroyed themselves in the end. It never ends well. If what you use to stimulate your mind is drugs, is alcohol, and all of those destructive things, it never ends well. The world is ruled and the destiny of civilization is established by the human emotions. People are influenced in their actions, not by reason so much as by feelings. The creative faculty of the mind is set into action entirely by emotions, not by cold reasons. The most powerful of all human emotions is that of sex. There are other mind stimulants, some of which have been listed, but no one of them, nor all of them combined, can equal the driving power of sex. A teacher who has trained and directed the efforts of more than 30,000 salespeople made the astounding discovery that highly sexed people have the most efficient sales rep. I was just discovering this truth for the first time. If your sexual nature is very high, you're going to be a very successful salesperson, because the same drive will be driving you into making a lot of sales. It's the same drive, it's the same passion, it's the same willpower, it is the same urge, right? It is now that it is channeled productively. Such people, they make very good sales rep. And so this is an indicator for employees who want to employers who want to employ sales rep. If the person appears cold and indifferent during his or her interview, then it is a red flag. Will this person be able to sell? There is this magnetism that you would feel from somebody who is highly sexed, who is going to be a successful salesperson. And it can be felt through handshake. The way they will shake you, you know that, yes, this person is full of energy, because they need that energy to drive sales for you. You will also find it out through the tone of voice. How do they speak? If they speak in a very casual and cold manner, watch it. That's not the right sales rep that you should employ. Number 3 way that we know is through posture and carriage of the body. Highly sexed people move briskly and with grace and ease. So watch, this is an inspo. Inspiration, and then exposition. If you're planning, or if you're somebody that recruits sales people, you get to know whether this person will deliver through handshake. Shake their hands and see. If they just shake you casually, check the tone of voice. How do they speak? That's the same way they're going to speak to prospective customers and clients. Check their posture and carriage of the body. Are they confident? How do they walk? Are they sloppy or floppy? Number 4, the vibrations of thoughts. Highly sexed people mix the emotions of sex with their thoughts, or may do so at will, and in that way may influence those around them. The vibration of their thoughts. How do they speak? Can they influence anybody? Can they convince somebody to buy what they are selling? You get to know. And through their body and adornment, people who are highly sexed are usually very careful about their personal appearance. They usually select clothing of a style becoming to their personality, physique, complexion, etc. So watch out for these 5 indicators. When you're employing salespeople, the more capable sales manager looks for the quality of personal magnetism as the first requirement for the job. These 6 that I've just been mentioned, that personal magnetism is the same magnet that they will use to attract clients and customers for you. So if they lack, maybe not in all, but the majority of this, they won't drive sales for your organization. They will not. And it is true. People who lack sex energy, will never become enthusiastic nor inspire others with enthusiasm. You need enthusiasm to drive sales. If you sell anything, you need enthusiasm. You cannot be cold. People will not buy from you, especially in this economy when people don't even have money to spare. Right? Salespeople who know how to take their minds off the subject of sex and direct that energy, that urge, into their sales efforts with much enthusiasm and determination as they would apply to its original purpose, have acquired the art of sex transmutation. Now I have to rush. Millions of people, even in this age of enlightenment, have developed inferiority complexes because of this false belief that a highly sexed nature is a curse. This statement of the virtue of sex energy should not be construed as justification for the libertine. It should not be a justification for you to now say, okay, I have high sex energy, let me now start misbehaving. Shouldn't be a justification for misbehavior. Rather, it is a blessing if you have a high sex energy, because it can drive riches for you in no small way. Not every person knows, however, that overindulgence in sex expression may become a habit as destructive and as detrimental to creative effort as narcotics or alcohol. A sex-mad person is not essentially different from a dope-mad person, from an ordinary mad person that we know. Both have lost control over their faculties of reason and willpower. So here, don't overindulge in sex. You have to exercise self-control. It is very, very important. If you have a high sex energy, put it under control. I mean the physical aspect of it. Put it under control, and then use the spiritual aspect of it, the inner will aspect of it, to drive yourself into attaining riches, wealth for yourself and for your generations, and for generations that will come after you. And one way to do this is to mix it with love. I want to just take, a few lines about love and how it is very, very important in making use of our sex energy to actually drive fortune, riches to us. And we have mentioned one of them. Ending up with the right person in a relationship or in marriage. You don't want to miss it, because if you miss it, then it becomes a problem to the way that you're going to succeed. It becomes a stumbling block to your success in life. So that is why you have to be very, very careful who you end up with in marriage, especially if you are not yet married now. You have to watch out for all of the red flags. Don't just pick anybody. Choose your life partner carefully, because in as much as we're talking about sex, if it is not mixed with love, it becomes detrimental. It becomes a clog in the wheel of your progress, right? So love is a beautiful thing that needs to be mixed with your sex energy for it to be very, very productive. Imagine that you have such a strong will. You don't have somebody by the side who is loving you, who is cheering you on, who is supporting you, who is influencing you positively. The person wants your progress, wants to go out, to go and look for money, to go and work. By the time you come home to a loving partner, you come home to loving children, you come home to a loving, environment. It goes a long way in whether you achieve success, your prosperity. And here I need to clarify that prosperity is not about money alone. Prosperity has to do with your entire well-being. If you have all the money, but your wife is giving you problem, or your husband is a headache to you, you're not going to enjoy that money. Or your children are giving you issues, They're always looking for trouble every now and then, always ending up in police custody. You're not going to enjoy that money. Or you don't want to close from work. It becomes a trouble, a worry, a thing of concern to that. I'm going home again. I'm going home to that nagging wife. I'm going home to that, abusive husband. Or I'm going home to these children that are just like a pain in my neck. So seek all-round prosperity. As you seek money, you seek wealth. With your high sex energy, make sure that there is love. Love is very, very important. And nobody should ever regret love. Well, if it has happened before, that you've been in love before, and the love ended, it is not something that you should regret. Think of the memory, the past memory of that love, and let it bring you hope. Let it bring you succor. Let it bring you comfort that will drive you into doing something great for yourself. Love is an emotion with many sides, shades, and colors. The love one feels for parents or children is quite different from the love one feels for one's sweetheart. One is mixed with the emotion of sex, while the other is not. But all in all, love is very instrumental to our well-being in life. And that is why we should choose carefully, even in the dissipation of your sexual energy. Make sure that it is mixed with love. Otherwise, you're going to misuse it, and it can destroy anybody. Let me end on this note. Thank you very much. I hope that you gained something. Yes, for me, this is like something new. I never thought of this in this way before. So, thank you so much for joining me on this live stream. Don't forget to like this video, drop all of your comments in the comment section. Kindly subscribe to this channel in case you are yet to subscribe. I remain Olaide Agbaje, also known as First Lady. And on this channel, I inspire you to live intentionally. Tomorrow, we're going to meet, and then we've come to the end of chapter 11, right? So tomorrow, we're going to treat chapter 12, which is titled The Subconscious Mind, the Connecting Link. And this is the 11th step to riches. You don't want to miss it, right? As we get closer to the end of this book, after tomorrow, then we'll meet on Monday, and then we'll have like 3 or 4, no, it's not even up to 4, like 3 chapters left, and then we'll move over to another book. I hope that you are expectant. Thank you so much. Until we see tomorrow, be intentional. Bye.